On this episode, we talk to Nim Niyomsin, a local art curator, for some insight into Bangkok's artistic community.
So if you're interested in how contemporary Thai artists show their creative flair, you'll dig this episode of the Bangkok Podcast.
Sawadee krap, and welcome to the Bangkok Podcast. My name is Greg Jorgensen, a Canadian who had his first positive Thai banking experience today after 17 years in Thailand.
And I'm Ed Knuth, an American who came to Thailand on a one-year teaching contract 17 years ago, fell in love with unpredictable torrential downpours, and never left.
Well, before we start, we want to say a quick thank you to one of our patrons, Matt, who supports us at the show shout-out level. Stick around after we're done talking about Bangkok's cool art scene to hear why Matt, in our opinion, needs to smoke a whole lot more weed.
Of course, one of the cool things our patrons like Matt get is an unscripted, uncensored bonus episode every week where we talk about all kinds of stuff. We just finished recording this week's bonus show, and we chatted about the recent bike ride we took that saw us sheltering from a wicked rainstorm under a tiny overhang, which you can see in a video on our Facebook page. We also continued with our new segment called Thai News of the Weird, where we discuss the pizza company's latest creation, durian pizza.
Yeah. And also, don't forget our Season 3 podcast meeting. That'll be on November 16th at Smalls on Soi Suan Plu. So come on down to meet us, meet other listeners, and meet past guests as well. Have a few drinks, share a few laughs, tell a few jokes, you know, the usual stuff. Should be pretty fun. We're looking forward to it. If you want more details, just check out our Facebook page, and we'll hopefully see you there on November 16th. All right, so with the Bangkok Art Biennale happening right now until February 2019, which is a pretty big deal in the art world, and several other big events coming up, as well as the negative news that the Bangkok Art and Culture Center is hurting for cash, we wanted to get some insight into Bangkok's art scene and what it looks like from the inside. So I met my friend Nim Niyomsin, a freelancer and a curator. Nim works with various galleries around town, setting up showings and curating collections, and since the last few months of 2018 are shaping up to be quite big for the local art scene, we thought it would be pretty interesting to hear what she has to say about Thai artists, the options and strategies that they are using to get their work out there, and why Thai culture places such little importance on art, despite Thais being so creative. So I met my friend Nim at a cafe near Prakanong BTS station, and here's our conversation. All right, well, we're sitting here with Nim Niyomsin, a friend of mine going way back, and she has agreed to come on to the podcast to talk a little bit about Bangkok's art scene. We're sitting here in a little cafe just down by Prakanong, and a nice friendly-looking traffic cop just walked in with a very loud walkie-talkie. So if you hear that in the background, that's what's going on. So Nim, welcome to the Bangkok Podcast.
Hi, hello, hi.
Well, I wanted to do a little bit of a talk on
Yes.
on Bangkok's art scene, what it is, what it looks like, what the future holds, et cetera, et cetera. And I know nothing about it, so I started to think of people, and you're the first person that came to my mind, because if someone asked me to describe what you do, I would say curator girl, but that's a ridiculous title. Can you sort of actually tell me what you do and what your job is in terms of bringing artists to the front lines?
Okay, so I'm currently an independent curator. So that means I'm working with, different spaces, doesn't work for specific galleries. And what my job as a curator is organize and curate an art exhibition. When you said curate, it's more like you put things together, you select the artist, select the artwork, and just oversee the exhibition, how you want to present the work and what message you want to convey, and actually everything about it.
Okay, so art galleries actually hire independent curators. I had no idea.
Some art galleries. Some they will have curators for their galleries, and some small galleries is the owner that curate their own show. But I think more nowadays you have more like an independent space, and also you have some big galleries that kind of open for the outsider as well, just to bring mainly the new perspective to the space.
Okay. Well, one of the things I wanted to ask you about was that you always hear about Thais being so creative, and it's obvious sort of if you know where to look, but I don't think the average person maybe visiting Thailand or living here without much exposure to the side of things would really see a lot of examples of. So is there a discrepancy between the Thai art community wanting to be taken more seriously or wanting to improve and grow, and what they're able to do? Because it seems like Bangkok as a city doesn't have a hell of a lot of really well-known art galleries or a really well-known art scene.
Actually, if you look at it, first, I think for people who's not in the art scene, you have the BACC. That may be just the first place that you can walk by.
That's the Bangkok Art and Culture Center on the corner
Bangkok Art and Culture Center by Siam Square.
Right, by Siam Square and MBK.
So, you may know that particular place, but for the art galleries that we have plenty in Bangkok, maybe that's not really the scene you used to. And partly, I think it's part of the culture as well, that, for Thai culture, we not really... we haven't been in depth with art and play and theater. So, that's just something that quite new and developing in the city. So for a lot of people, they may see some artwork that's in public space, but there's not that many. If you go to the department store, sometimes you see an art as part of, it can be part of the display, part of the exhibition, or that more in public space, but you don't really know exactly about the work itself, and you're not sure if it's mainly part of the creative of the work or it's just an art piece. But yeah, that's how I think for normal people to be able to get to know a bit about the work. And actually, I think the good thing is recently you have a lot of art. You have Art Biennale and Biennial in Bangkok. And I think you will see more on social media, people said you have... Yayoi at I think Central World, with all the dot in the middle of Central World, things like that. So I think that's how mainly normal people will be able to see the work. Mm-hmm. But if you really want to get to know the art scene, I think the first thing is for you to just do research on Google about art galleries, or on Facebook event page and see what's our art events going, and you just walk into one gallery. And from there, actually, you'll be able to find out more of the information. You have an art map that you can find at quite a lot of galleries, and then that's how the way to start. If you walk to one, then they can introduce you to the others. Right,
and that's kind of what I was thinking. It seems like if you want to delve into the art scene in Bangkok, into the Thai art scene, you kind of have to work at it. It's not something that just pops up really easily. You have to go and search for the information.
Yes, but like I said, do you have some big events that they do some PR and marketing? Some things like that you may come across, right. When it's happened in a government fund space or at a big commercial space. Something like that you'll be able to see on your daily basis. But if you really want to, know the movement, that may be something you have to kind of look for.
Right. So say some Thai kid is in high school and he's really talented in painting or drawing or sculpting or something like that. Is there a lot of options for that kid?
I think so. More so nowadays, yes.
Oh, good to hear.
Because there are more art schools. Actually every university now have, offer a good art department. And you're talking about outside Bangkok as well. So there are more fine art department and more a new media as well, digital media and graphic design. In terms of It doesn't have to be like a traditional fine art, but now there's more option in terms of creative career.
Okay.
A lot more, yes.
That's great to hear. Does the Thai government have any like subsidized programs for artists? Like, are there any supports or scholarships or anything that they can apply for?
I mean, there are some, but not that many. You know, in comparison to other countries, it's quite sad.
Yeah,
In a way.
I think
Yeah.
of in Canada, and I've got a few artist friends in Canada, and the government heavily supports the arts and gives all kinds of money for all kinds of programs. Some say too much, some say not enough, but it doesn't seem that Thailand is really set up like that.
No, I don't think so. And actually, you can talk about like, you know, first you talk about art organization, like museum galleries, you know, to support that. And another section is to support the artists.
Right.
Let's talk about the artists first. I mean, you have some scholarship, you have some funding from non-profit, and actually you have some award that, you know, if the artists win, they get quite a lot of good money. But it's still not enough. And, you know, when you compare with other country, like in Europe, when some country they have like, what is it, like a monthly payment to artists? Like if you're part of, you know, the system, they can help you to survive and support you creatively. But in this country, they don't really have the system like that. They have some that, you know, award someone as like a national artist. I think that's what it's called, that you get like a salary. But that's only happened towards like the end of your career.
You always hear national artists, but they're all like 70-year-old.
Yeah, and it's not that, you know, and there's still like not that many of that available. So it's not, I don't think it's enough. And for the art organization and museum, I really think it's even worse. But I'm talking about the contemporary art. You know, I did not talk about tradition and something about history or temples or anything. I'm just really talking about like a contemporary art nowadays. And I mean, you see what happened to BACC. You see how, you know, how the government works. And actually commercial galleries, when I went to the art fair, when you talk to other galleries, sometimes I got support from the government, but none of the galleries in Bangkok got it.
Yeah, and for those that don't know, the BACC, the Bangkok Art and Culture Center, has been in the news lately because it's sort of come to a really important cash crunch, and they said they literally might not have the money to pay the electricity bill, which is kind of shocking because it's a huge, beautiful place. But it seems to me that it's kind of always fighting an uphill battle, trying to be recognized, trying to be taken seriously, trying to get the funding and the money and the artist it needs to really stand out. But it seems like it's a really hard thing to do. No one wants to step up and give it a bunch of money.
Yeah, I mean, it always be a battle between art and government funding. Because I don't think in this country we really pay attention much. Like, it's not the top priority in terms of, you know, create just like the culture that appreciate our creativities. I don't think it's government's top priority.
Yeah. Any ideas why that is? I mean, why?
Like I said, I think part of it because the culture as well. We grew up like we did not see theater on our block. You know, it's not like we grew up and we see art and we see everything and we appreciate it. We grew up with it. We know how important it is to life. We did not have that environment when we were growing up. So for us and a lot of people, it doesn't seem like it's part of daily life. Nowadays, people tend to appreciate more of the cultural aspect, but still, it still doesn't seem like a top priority. And especially the government, I think that's just not really what they're looking for.
They got bigger fish to fry right now.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's not something that will generate money much. In the short term.
Yeah,
in
that's
the
fair enough.
Yeah.
A big shopping mall will make a hell of a lot more money for the people at the top than an art gallery will.
That's the thing that I think, because everyone just look at the short-term investment in a way. You know, like if you have funding, where you're going to put the money to. For something like culture, it's more like a long-term investment. You're not going to see it happening in a year or two. You look at like 10, 20 years plan. And I do not think any government care much about that.
Yeah. So in your daily sort of dealings with Thai artists, What are Thai artists excited about? What are they really good at?
I mean, I'm talking about recently because I moved. I really started working in Thai art scene like seriously for the last 4 years since I moved here.
Right. You were in London before this.
Yeah, I was in London before, but I noticed like I was here like we talked about 10 years ago, and then the last 4 years. But I can see a lot of difference in terms of the art scene. Like we have more independent space, we have a lot more art galleries, and artists start to do more initiative projects. So you talk about, like even though if we have no government funding or, no big project that with like a sponsor from, the big corporation, the artists kind of like get together and try to make it happen. It just can start something locally, but I really see the movement going.
That's great. That's very good news. So it's sort of like at the, like a bunch of people sitting around going, God damn it, if they're not going to do it, we'll do it. And they got together and did it.
But you grew up in this country, you're used to it. I'm not just talk about art, in quite a lot of industry, you kind of have to work yourself out.
Yeah. Well, we did it back in season 2 with my old co-host Evo. We did a show at the Museum of Contemporary Art, Mocha, north of Chatuchak, and there are some unbelievable pieces there done by Thai artists. Beautiful wall-sized paintings and amazing sculptures and abstract art and things like that.
Okay, yes.
And if that's any indication of what contemporary artists are capable of, I mean, the future looks so bright. But yeah, it seems like it's just a bit of an uphill battle because no one's providing them the ladder that a lot of other countries do. But it's great to hear that Thai artists are making their own ladder, so to speak.
Yeah, and I think that's how it seems to work here as well. To create more sustainable society, I think you kind of have to work from the bottom as well to build it up. Mm-hmm. And especially when you do not have the support from the top of the ladder. Right. So it's important to just like hold on together.
Yeah. Well, as we're wrapping up here, if someone wanted to get a bit more introduction into Bangkok's art scene and art community, what's the best way they can do that? Where do they go? How do they learn about it?
I think the best way is to walk to the gallery or to a museum nearby you. Like I said, like you can just walk to the BACC and then, just check out what's going on. Because they have the main exhibition floor on the 7th, 8th, and 9th, I think. And then the 5th floor, you have information about other artworks and also some gallery downstairs for emerging artists. But actually this year, I think for Thailand, it's a good year because we have 3 big international art events. If you don't mind, since we did not talk about it, just at the moment we have Bangkok Art Biennale. So we got quite big artists going, lots of art collectors from abroad. That event will be till next year, February. And actually that recently we got Bangkok Biennial. And also happening next month will be Thailand Biennale in Krabi. So everything happening this year.
Can I ask a stupid question? What's a biennale?
Just quite happen every 2 years.
Oh, okay.
So it's mainly a big art event. You have Venice.
Yeah.
So it's mainly just a big art event that happen in Venice, and but that's a big one. So you have all the country involved and pavilion and artists, international artists. So for Thailand, we have been looking for this for so long, and this is the first year that
great.
suddenly we have all this international event. And I mean, there's also problem. Practicality is quite a lot of things, but at least it's happening, so it's a good thing. And we have more art collector for the second half of the year. So you're drawing more and more people, which is good. The more, the better. And
all right, so there's three big biennales going on, sort of the end of 2018, the beginning of 2019.
Yeah, run by different groups, but at least it happened.
Right. Okay, so they might not all be equal in quality or scope, but at least they're happening, which is great. So maybe 2018 is the first year of a bunch of very good years.
Yeah, I would just say that different in terms of quality, but I would just say they are different in terms of approach.
Okay.
But yeah. And actually, there's some. I think you also have we haven't talked about the art fair because you have the hotel art fair as well. I'm not sure you heard.
No, what's the hotel art fair?
So it's mainly, the art fair when all the galleries come together and then, selling artworks for like maybe for the weekend or for a couple of days. And that's to invite all the collectors. So everything's just happening in one space. We do not have international art fair at the moment, but we have a hotel art fair, which is run by also a local group. It's called the Farm Group, and they just have an event inside the hotel. So the gallery just kind of like book each room, and that happening, I think, once a year. Okay. So that's also quite a good boost as well for, for young collectors.
Cool. Well, I'm going to do some Google Foo when I get home, and we'll put links to all these art shows and biennales in our show notes. But thanks for talking, Nim, and it's great to hear that Thai artists have more options now. It's a little bit of a bummer that they have to do it themselves and there's no state support, but at least it's getting done, like you said.
Yeah, I think it's good. And actually for, because you asked like how to start in terms of going to galleries. So like now we have like Bangkok Art Map, which is have a good list of gallery in Bangkok, and you can get that from every galleries in the city. BACC good start, and also you have a lot of new space around Charoen. So they do like creative. They call it like that, kind of like creative district. So they do galleries night, and sometimes collaborate with the French embassy, and you have quite a lot of like gallery space that they all get together, like the N22 and around like Charoen, Silom and Sukhumvit area. And sometimes they do a night together, which is I think is good when to start, so you can just hop on, hop off in each gallery.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Sounds like the key to it all is the Bangkok Art Map. So, folks out there, if you're interested, head to a gallery, pick up the Bangkok Art Map, and take it from there. Cool. All right, thanks, Nim. It's been great talking to you.
All right, thanks. Hope that helps.
Yeah.
Wow, that was interesting. Bangkok has a lot of different subcultures, a lot of different groups, and there's just so much to explore. Like, I've just never got into the Bangkok art scene before.
Yeah, me neither. And I've been to a couple of galleries here and there, and the BACC, the Bangkok Art and Cultural Center, is really, really nice. And Ivo and I did a show at the Museum of Contemporary Art way back in season 2, which was very interesting too. But beyond that, it's like it comes up sometimes, but it's not something I regularly look into at all.
Right.
And I think also part of it has to do with like art is so subjective, and I don't know what art is. A lot of art pisses me off. But I also know, like the old saying goes, I know what I like, and some art just takes my breath away. So,
no doubt.
Yeah,
definitely something worth checking out.
Yeah. All right, let's get into Love, Loathe, or Leave, where one of us surprises the other one with a particular aspect of living in Bangkok, which we then discuss and decide if it's something that we love about living in Bangkok, loathe about living in Bangkok, or hate so much that it makes us want to leave Bangkok in the rear view forever. And last week it was me. This week it's over to you, man.
All right, let me throw this at you. We've been talking about malls recently, so I'm not going to ask you about Icon CM because I know what you think about that. but how about this? Central Embassy.
Wow, I think this is definitely the biggest physical structure we've ever had on Love, Loathe, or Leave. Central Embassy that sits on the former site of the British Embassy is that's correct. Giant mall that from the outside looks like a giant silver pile of shaving cream, and from the inside looks like you're inside a giant pile of shaving cream.
Right.
I refer to Central Embassy as Central Empty because
right.
It's like there's hardly anyone in it, at least when I'm there. And I think it's a beautiful complex, a beautifully designed building. But this is a hard one, man. Yeah, it's
doesn't it strike you as kind of like one mall too far. You know, we always talk about how much construction there is and how it's like a new massive mall. I feel like they built one mall too many. Like it's just too close to Central World. You know, it's too close to, Paragon and CM Square. The old Central is still standing, correct?
Yeah, Central Chidlom is right there. You can like connect it.
Right.
But I don't know. You know, something about Central Embassy it doesn't have anything for me because everything there is like Prada or Gucci, like stuff that I'm not even interested in, even remotely. And the only thing that I would ever go there for is the food court in the basement, which is real good but expensive.
Yeah, that's correct. There is a good food court in the basement. That is correct.
Yeah, but mostly I just use it as an air-conditioned shortcut between Plunchit BTS and Chitlom BTS.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah, I've never found anything in there that even remotely appeals to me. So I've got to go with Loathe on this one. I mean, it's a gorgeous building architecturally, but there's just nothing there for me.
Yeah, when I've been in there, I just get this question of like, why did they build this here? It just seems like there's too many malls along this stretch, and we didn't need another like massive one.
Well, yeah, I think there's nothing wrong with making like a strip of malls along Sukhumvit, like Orchard Road in Singapore, but this one doesn't offer anything the other malls don't offer, really. Although I will say on the top floor, I forget what number it is, the top floor, there's a really, really nice sort of bookstore / group of restaurants / kids playground / movie theater thing.
Oh, really? I've never been up there. I've never been up to the top.
You should definitely check it out. It's really, really nice, like to go for an afternoon snack or something, just hang out on the weekends. There's tons of cool books. There's like a little co-working space, and there's a really neat kids playground.
Maybe the fact that it's not crowded, maybe that is a good reason to go there.
I think so. Although, to be honest, I haven't been in probably 6 months, so maybe it's really crowded now. I don't know. But yeah, I got to go Loathe, but not because of the institution, like anything,
right?
How it looks or anything. It's just the mall doesn't appeal to me. The offerings in there don't appeal to a mid-40s expat male.
Well, I figured I'd throw that out since you and I are both eagerly awaiting the opening of Icon Siam on our side of the river. So we only got another week or something like that. Is that right?
I think so, yeah. It opens on November 9th. And make fun of us all you want, listeners. Oh, another mall. These guys like another mall. You try living over in Tonbury where there's nothing.
That's right.
It's going to be nice to have a mall here. Yeah,
I mean, we deserve a mall instead of having another one on Sukhumvit. That's my whole point. It's like Central Embassy is a waste, but Icon Siam is going to not be a waste. It's going to be worth it.
That's right. So what's your verdict on Central Empty?
Same.
Okay.
I mean, I'm indifferent, but love, loathe, or leave. There's no I in love, loathe, or leave. There's no indifferent.
Love, loathe, leave, or indifference.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go loathe.
Okay.
So anyway, as we mentioned at the beginning of the show, we'd like to say thank you to Matt for lending us his support at the show shoutout level. And Greg, what did you find out about Matt?
Well, as it turns out, our man Matt hails from lovely Colorado, which rivals my own fair fatherland in natural beauty, mountains and forests and snow-capped peaks and all that stuff. And Matt says he spends his free time climbing peaks across the state and has made it a point to drink a craft beer on over 10 of the highest summits in the state, which is pretty cool, but it could be better, and I'll tell you why. Now, despite this, Matt says he has yet to see a Yeti or abominable snowman and has never had to be rescued after some dumbass mountain adventure, which leads me to the conclusion, you need to start smoking some more weed, Matt.
No doubt.
I mean, it's legal in Colorado, right, as far as I know. And, I mean, come on, Matt spends his time half-buzzed, stumbling around mountaintops anyway. I say, bring a backpack full of the devil's lettuce up with you, buddy, and keep smoking until you see a Yeti walk by. Then you can truly say you've really climbed peaks in a way that no one has. I think it's a great idea.
I like it.
And you know what? Take it a step further. Start a tour company. Start your own tour company called Matt's Baked Adventures or something. You'll clean up. You'll be the only one offering these sky-high adventures.
I love it. Sky-high adventures. There's your motto right there.
So thanks, Matt. Thanks for your support, man. We really do appreciate it. And look us up next time you're in town when you come down from on high.
For sure. All right, before we wrap up, I'd like to give a special thanks to all of our patrons like Matt. As everyone knows, we don't do ads or have sponsors, so we really do appreciate the support we get from our patrons. And if you want to get in touch with us, we are at Bangkok Podcast on Facebook and Twitter, or you can send us a message via the contact form on bangkokpodcast.com or just bangkokpodcast@gmail.com. We always write back. If you write it, we will answer it.
Yeah, and you can also find us online where we post each episode and carry on conversations with our listeners. You can reach out to me directly on Twitter if you want, where I am BKK Greg. So that's it for this week, folks. Thank you for listening as usual, and we'll see you back here next week. You know, I can't say butt plug. Someone's going to piss me off. This is a very big, important company. I can't say butt plug.